I don't care.
All right.
Hey, you're the one hitting the record button. You
I
tell me,
already did.
Director Dave.
It's recorded right now. Talk to the peoples.
Talk to the peoples. I finished BioShock Infinite too.
Oh, did you? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I-
ending. What did you think of it?
I like it and I hate it all at the same time.
Okay.
Like, but they're for different reasons, right? I liked it because the farther you get down into it, the more interesting it gets.
Yeah.
Especially with like the entire meta backstory and everything. Like it's fascinating how far you can go down the rabbit hole with this game, you know.
Yeah.
But on the other end of it, I can sum it up by saying it's the butterfly effect mixed with Groundhog Day. Like,
I can see that. I can definitely see that, like, where you came that from.
like, the fact that I can boil it down to these two base components pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of takes the whole, like, multiple universe thing, and, like, I don't know, like, I remember, like, the first time I played through it, like, the only time I played through it, really. But, well, you know, when I got to that part where it's like, oh, there are multiple Bookers and Elizabeths going to multiple lighthouses and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so this is happening, so what's the point of what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And so, like, going through it, and then when you get, like, the ending, like, where you have, like, multiple Elizabeths and they come and, like, they drown you because you're essentially Comstock.
No idea what we're talking about.
Okay, spoiler spawn.
Well, it's funny because it's like it doesn't matter because it's like I'd rather just know.
You'll forget it by the time you play it because
Yeah.
it's kind of
Did you play any of the other BioShocks?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you like the story with?
Oh, I love.
I love the first one. The first one's my favorite.
First, so good.
Okay.
There's, like, a lot of, like scenarios, at least in the first one anyway, that, like, just, like, so freaking creepy, and, like, you're just kind of going through it and you don't know what to really expect. Like, it really creeps you out, where BioShock Infinite is more, like, unsettling.
It's very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Like, and BioShock Infinite had that up to a point,
Yeah.
and then, like, I want to say about 60%. It took me 3 days to get to 60%. It took me 4 months to get that last 40%. That's how bad the shifting gears is.
Kind of slowed it down a bit, yeah.
Like, there is this entire middle section that, like, while I appreciate the gameplay time, it's just unnecessary. The Lady Comstock scenario. That whole
Okay, with our ghosts and everything. Yeah.
way tedious for no reason because it doesn't. It kind of makes sense in the universe they set up for it, but not really.
They want to make her more of a character since she was already dead, but so they just bring her ghost, essentially. So it was a little strange. It was an annoying battle too. Like that whole, like, combat scenario with Lady Comstock was, like, really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
I didn't like that combat scenario. Like, a lot of the combat too in BioShock Infinite, I didn't feel like was as satisfying as BioShock 1. You know?
Like, it just doesn't feel like that it didn't play as a tight first-person shooter. It's kind of sloppy in BioShock Infinite. It's like, I'm shooting! Like, come here!
I like the idea. I like the idea with, like, using, like, the rails for the combat and everything. Like, I like the idea of it, but I felt like the game didn't really promote you using it as much as it should have. You know, I would have liked to see more situations where you had to use the rails more.
Give you any distinct advantage in doing it. Like, there's no, like, cool slowdown power. Like, time should have been a power in this game.
There is, if you're using, like, the different hats and shirts and pants and stuff. Like, there are specific ones for if you're using, like, the rails. There are ones, like, where if you attack from like the rails and you get, like, I don't know, like a power-up boost or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying, but nothing time-oriented. Like,
nothing like the slowdown, yeah.
Time slowdown, that's what I'm saying. Like, the only way that rail section can be successful in that game is if you added a time slowdown component. Because otherwise, it's too frantic. Like, you're still like, I'm gonna shoot you! You know, like...
It was pretty fucking frantic. I remember the very first time, like, doing the combat in the game, like, I felt like I ran, like, a freaking marathon, like, you know?
Oh my god! The one power that I loved, though, was, like, the active shield. where you could absorb the bullets.
Yeah, and then shoot it out of them. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's cool.
Like
That's cool power.
if you put the shield up in front of you, like you just tap the button or whatever, like there's a tap and a hold. Like if you for your special power.
Yeah, if you like,
tapped it, its deflection shield comes up or whatever, and it just kind of like curves the bullets around you, that kind of thing. But if you actually hold it, like you hold the shield and then use the little power up in there that you can do for it or whatever, you absorb the bullets they shoot at you. So if you're using the same type of gun that they are, like they're just feeding you ammunition. You know? Well, you're not
all back at them. Yeah,
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I love the powers more than I like the gun scenario.
Definitely.
But
The guns are kind of boring. The guns are kind of boring in BioShock Infinite. That's a shame.
video, like, just give me the pistol and rifle / machine gun, and I'll be fine.
The shotgun, man. Like the shotgun in that game was like great. Like especially if you get like shotgun, bucking bronco. That's it. People are done after that. Like just bucking bronco, just have it float up in the air and then just
Shotgun,
boom,
like-
boom.
I actually like the story. Like I said, I like the story. I like how far down it went.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. It was very good. I did not feel like it was cheap at all, like a lot of people seem to think that it was. And it actually did have, like, kind of a happy ending, you know, which is rare in a game like this. And not the happy ending.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a very gray kind of ending because like you basically find out that spoilers obviously, but like you basically find out that you're an incarnation of Comstock. But with the way that they do it, like where they have like the multiple universes thing, the multiple lighthouses and all that, multiple bookers, who's to say that Comstock's still not alive in other universe? Like so, it's kind of pointless.
No. See, you're missing it. You're missing it. The way the functions work in it and whatnot is that for each choice, there's only two options. There's the option where it happened, and the option in where it didn't. And the option that it happens, all of these other things happen,
Right.
and allows for this multiverse scenario.
Right.
Like, the multiverse is happening anyway, but there was no way to tap into the multiverse
Right.
until this happened. That the one event, the baptism event.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the baptism event doesn't happen, then it can only go one other way. Basically, like killing off that entire timeline tree.
Yeah, I mean, see, like that's kind of the problem I have with like a lot of multiverse style stories. Like even with like DC stuff, like I can't wrap my mind like around it because like I don't like to believe of like if you make one decision it goes this way, you can make another decision that way. Because what if there's a third decision, a fourth decision? Like this can go infinite. This can go.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. I think that in this instance, the only way that you can tell it is because there's only two choices.
Right.
You know, and I think that's kind of the trick. Like, it's either you do or you don't. Like, there's no in between at this point with that decision, unfortunately. I think that's kind of the way they set it up. And like I said, I like, because if you think about it, it does get more like that as you go along. For instance, one of the ideas was, if you actually think back through it, is that Songbird is actually another incarnation of Booker that was captured and turned into Songbird.
Right.
Because of the way this multiverse scenario works out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the twins, which is that were actually the same person, just male in one side of it, female, like they're the same person.
The Lutich or whatever,
Yes,
I forget their
yeah, Tichi or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Actually the same person, but they're technically two people because the way the multiverse opens up later, they're able to access across persons.
Don't they call each other brother and sister though?
Yes, because they technically are. They're the same person, just one is the female variant of them. You know, that kind of thing. They're an exact copy, but of what the girl would be in an alternate corresponding universe. You know, that kind of thing, where everything lined up side by side. It just so happens that the one difference was male and female.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it. I just don't necessarily like it. I guess like the whole multiverse thing. I mean, like it makes for good possibilities for DLC. That's for sure. Like there's the DLC that's coming out. You know, where it's like in Rapture, and like there's like Chinatown.
This is the killer with this. We've been talking about this for too damn long.
Segment.
No, it is now. It is really good though.
It's simple. It feels like it simplifies it for the sake of telling a more concise story. Because otherwise, if you get like into the sense where I'm thinking of it, it's like, well, why can't there be infinite choices basically. It's like, no, it's either you made this choice or you made this choice, and that's it. Let's kind of split up that way.
Thing though, that's in this one instance. Elizabeth still exists.
Right.
So something may happen later. Who knows? I mean, there's infinite number of possibilities. That's the ending. You can go anywhere from here.
Right.
Because we've already shown you that you can go anywhere from here.
Oh, no. So, all right, let's actually get on track. Let's actually talk about the things we're going to talk about.
You could have left it a little more open, and it still would have told just as good of a story and have more options.
Definitely.
Let's quit. Okay, sorry.
It's done. It's in the books.
There is something that I do want to say, at least. Between that game...
This entire episode is now based around BioShock's ending. I'm sorry, people.
We had to talk about it eventually, right? Because you still had to beat it and everything. So without you beating it, we wouldn't know. See, there you go, the multiverse. If you beat it or if you didn't beat it. If you didn't beat it, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Well, I halfway beat it, but I wasn't paying attention to the entire story, so I have no idea what really happened, and I just think that it sucked.
Yet another multiverse, a third choice.